They always said humanity was weak. Across the galaxy, species had looked down on humans for centuries. They were small, fragile, and slow compared to advanced civilizations. Planets had risen and fallen, empires had spanned light years, but humans remained stuck on a single blue world. Yet, despite the whispers of doubt, something inside them burned quietly, a fire no alien could ever see coming. Commander Eric Kane stood on the edge of the observation deck, staring at the stars. The view was breathtaking, but his mind was focused elsewhere. The United Earth Fleet had just received a transmission from the Dravari, the most feared race in known space. Their message was simple, almost insulting: humanity will not survive. Prepare to surrender. Eric clenched his fists. He had heard the same taunts his whole life, but this time it was different. This time, the Dravari were coming, and humanity had no choice but to fight. Below him, the fleet buzzed with activity. Ships of every size and shape moved with precise coordination, human pilots running simulations, checking weapons, and whispering prayers to gods they didn't fully believe in. The largest ship, the Resolute, gleamed under the distant starlight, carrying thousands of humans ready for battle. Yet despite the technology, doubts lingered in every mind. Could humans really survive against a race that had conquered worlds like toys? Lieutenant Mara Voss approached Eric, her boots clicking softly on the metal floor. Her face was calm, but her eyes betrayed her anxiety. "Sir, scans show the Dravari fleet is twice what we expected. If they attack in full force..." "We'll adapt," Eric interrupted firmly. "Humanity has always adapted. They may have more ships, more weapons, more firepower, but they don't understand one thing. Humans never give up." Mara nodded, unsure if she believed him fully. But Eric's confidence was contagious. He had a reputation for pulling impossible victories from the jaws of defeat, and somehow, humans still followed him. Somehow, hope had survived. The first sign of the Dravari fleet appeared as a shadow against the blackness of space. Ships the size of mountains glimmered with deadly precision, their energy shields pulsing like hearts. The humans held their breath. Every officer, every soldier, every pilot felt the same thought: this is it. Our last chance. Suddenly, a strange signal cut through the comms. It wasn't a weapon, not a transmission. They had never seen anything like it. The signal moved like a living thing, weaving through space and around the Dravari fleet. Scientists scrambled to decode it, but the data was confusing, alien, impossible to predict. Eric's brow furrowed. Could it be a trap? "Unknown, sir," Mara replied. "But it's affecting their shields. Weakening them." He felt a surge of hope. If even a small advantage could be found, humanity might survive. But the Dravari would not wait. Their fleet advanced with lethal precision, firing beams of energy that lit up the void like artificial stars. Humans ducked behind shields, counterattacks flaring bright and destructive. Even so, the Dravari ships pushed forward relentlessly. Inside the bridge, young cadet Eli Ramos watched the battle unfold on the holographic display. He was scared, terrified even, but something deep in his chest ignited. He had trained for years for this moment, and despite the odds, he realized something. Humans fought not because they were strong, but because they had heart. They never stopped, even when it seemed impossible. As the battle raged, strange things began to happen. Ships that had been doomed suddenly changed direction, dodging lasers as if guided by some invisible hand. Shields that should have shattered held firm. Pilots felt a new clarity, a strange coordination that went beyond strategy. It was as if humanity itself was alive in that moment, refusing to break. Eric sensed it too. He took a deep breath and smiled, a small, almost dangerous smile. "They think we are weak," he said quietly. "But they don't know what it means to fight for survival, to fight for home, for family, for everything you've ever loved. They've never faced humans at their best." The Dravari fleet hesitated, confused by the sudden resilience. Their attacks faltered, leaving openings for the human ships to strike. One by one, the humans began to push back. Small victories, yes, but enough to ignite hope. Enough to prove that maybe, just maybe, humanity wasn't helpless after all. And in that moment, across the chaos of battle, a single truth became clear. This fight would change the galaxy's view of humans forever. The story of weakness was ending. The story of humans had just begun. Eric turned to Mara and Eli. Prepare the next wave. This is only the beginning. Humanity is not done yet. And somewhere in the darkness of space, the Dravari paused, realizing for the first time that the humans they had underestimated were more dangerous than they had ever imagined. The human fleet moved cautiously, but there was no time for hesitation. Every pilot knew the Dravari would strike again, faster and harder. Commander Eric Kane watched from the bridge, the tension in his chest coiling like a spring. Humanity had survived the first wave, but the real battle was only beginning. Eli Ramos gripped the control console tightly. His hands were shaking, but his mind was sharper than ever. The strange signal from before continued to ripple through space, confusing the Dravari ships. "Sir," he said to Eric, "the signal, it's guiding our attacks somehow. I don't understand it, but it's working." Eric leaned closer, eyes narrowing. "Humans have always found ways to survive the impossible," he said quietly. "Maybe this is just another way." Mara Voss stood beside him, her usual calm replaced with quiet determination. "The Dravari are regrouping," she said. "They're frustrated, but they're not done. If we're not ready for the next strike, we'll be destroyed." Eric nodded. "Then we will be ready. Send orders to split the fleet. Use the signal to confuse them. Let them overextend, then strike." The humans executed the plan perfectly. Ships darted through space like fireflies, weaving around the alien fleet with uncanny coordination. The Dravari fired blindly, unable to track the unpredictable movements. Slowly, the humans gained ground, claiming small victories, hitting weak points no one expected. In the middle of the chaos, Eli noticed something terrifying. A massive Dravari ship, larger than any human vessel, detached from the main fleet and moved straight toward the Resolute. "Sir, that ship, it's coming for us." Eric's eyes hardened. "Then we'll make them pay for every mile they've crossed." The bridge erupted into controlled chaos. Pilots launched interceptors, missiles streaking across space, while Eric directed the fleet with calm precision. Mara coordinated the defensive shields, calculating angles and energy outputs faster than any computer could. Even Eli felt the strange confidence growing inside him, like the humans were somehow linked, their determination a force stronger than any weapon. The massive Dravari ship fired a concentrated beam at the Resolute. The main shields flared under the impact, sparks flying as alarms blared. Mara shouted orders, and human engineers worked frantically, rerouting power to weaker sections. Just when it seemed impossible, the signal rippled again, and the beams suddenly faltered, dispersing harmlessly into space. Eric grinned. "Keep moving. Never stop moving. They can't hit what they can't predict." But the Dravari were not giving up. They had underestimated humans once. They would not make that mistake again. Smaller ships began breaking off, attacking human supply lines, attempting to cut off reinforcements. Explosions lit up the void, and every human ship had to fight for survival. Eli piloted his interceptor, dodging lasers and debris. He glanced at the massive ship behind him and realized the truth. Humans were not just fighting for survival, they were showing the galaxy that weakness was an illusion. Each maneuver, each daring attack, seemed impossible, yet humans kept moving forward. Somewhere deep inside the Dravari flagship, their commanders were panicking. The humans had no reason to win. They were weaker, outnumbered, and inexperienced, but they fought with a reckless brilliance that the aliens could not predict. And that brilliance was contagious. Back on the Resolute, Eric gave the final order. "Target the command ship. Focus fire. Hit them where it hurts the most." Mara's voice rang out across the bridge. "All units, lock on. Concentrate your attacks." Explosions erupted as missiles and energy beams hit the massive ship. The Dravari shields flickered, then collapsed under the relentless assault. Eric watched the damage reports with satisfaction. "They'll never think of us the same way again," he said. Eli's hands were shaking as he watched the command ship falter. He had never felt so alive. The humans were not only surviving, they were dominating. And for the first time, he understood what Commander Kane had meant. Humans fought differently. They fought with heart, with stubbornness, and with hope that no alien weapon could destroy. Suddenly, the battlefield went quiet. The Dravari flagship, crippled and exposed, drifted helplessly in space. Smaller ships began to retreat, their formation breaking apart. The humans had turned the tide in ways that no one had predicted. Eric turned to Mara and Eli. "This is only the beginning," he said. "The galaxy will remember this day. Humanity is not weak, and we are not done yet. They will come again, stronger, smarter. But so will we." Mara nodded. They thought they were invincible. They were wrong. Eli stared at the stars, at the retreating fleet, and felt a fire ignite inside him. He realized something profound. Humans were not defined by their size, their strength, or their technology. They were defined by their spirit, and that spirit could change everything. As the human fleet regrouped, Eric allowed himself a rare moment of hope. For the first time in his career, he felt the truth of the words he had lived by. Humans were never helpless. And the galaxy would soon learn that lesson the hard way. But far beyond the edge of known space, a shadow stirred. A presence that had watched the battle unfold from the darkness had taken note. Humanity had survived. Humanity had fought back. And now, something far older and far deadlier than the Dravari was awakening. The real test had not yet begun. The victory against the Dravari fleet had been hard won, but it came at a cost. Human ships were damaged, supply lines were strained, and every pilot, soldier, and crew member felt the exhaustion of the fight. Commander Eric Kane walked through the corridors of the Resolute, listening to the quiet hum of the engines. The adrenaline was fading, leaving only the weight of reality. Lieutenant Mara Voss met him at the strategy room, her face grave. "Sir, the Dravari retreating wasn't their final move. Sensors are picking up something unusual. Massive energy readings beyond our charts. I don't know what it is, but it's big. Too big." Eric frowned, studying the holographic map. The readings pulsed like a heartbeat from a far corner of the galaxy, distant but impossible to ignore. "And you're telling me this now, not after we've repaired the fleet?" Mara shook her head. "It just appeared. We didn't notice it until now." Eli Ramos, standing nearby, felt a chill run down his spine. "Sir, whatever it is, it's ancient. Older than any Dravari records. Older than the humans we know. It's not a fleet. It's something else." Eric's jaw tightened. "Then we find out what it is. Humanity survived the Dravari. We survived the impossible. Whatever this is, we will survive it too." The next days were tense. Humans repaired their fleet and studied the mysterious energy signature. Every attempt to understand it only raised more questions. The energy pulsed in patterns that resembled communication, but no human had ever seen anything like it. Some scientists whispered of intelligent stars, others of weapons left over from the birth of the galaxy. Despite the unknown, Eric insisted on preparation. "We can't wait for it to strike first. Humans take the fight to the enemy, no matter who, or what, they are." And then it came. Sensors picked up a massive vessel, far larger than any Dravari ship, moving toward human-controlled space. It was dark, angular, and seemed almost alive. It didn't communicate. It didn't respond to hails. It simply came, unstoppable and ominous. The human fleet mobilized immediately, every ship taking positions, weapons ready. As the massive ship approached, strange phenomena began. Systems on human ships malfunctioned for moments at a time. Energy readings fluctuated wildly. Pilots reported strange visions, memories that were not their own, and whispers in the void of space. Eli clutched his console. "Sir, it's like it's inside our minds." Eric's expression hardened. Stay focused. Humanity survives because we fight with courage, with clarity. Don't let it control you. The unknown vessel unleashed a massive pulse of energy. Human shields flared and buckled under the impact, throwing ships into disarray. The fleet was battered, but not broken. Eric ordered a counterattack. Focus on the weak points. Hit every opening. And then, something incredible happened. The strange signal that had helped humanity against the Dravari activated again. Ships moved instinctively, dodging attacks, coordinating strikes without communication. It was as if humanity itself was alive in battle, linked by determination, courage, and the unyielding will to survive. Small human fighters darted around the colossal vessel, targeting energy conduits, engines, and weapon arrays. Each strike weakened the giant ship, forcing it to divert power to shields and defense. The energy pulse came again, but this time, humans resisted, holding their ground. Eric grinned despite the chaos. They've never faced humans like this. Not even the Dravari could imagine what we're capable of. But the vessel was not just a machine, it was ancient, intelligent, and patient. It adapted with every attack, learning, predicting, and striking back. Human ships began to fall. Explosions tore through the fleet, sending debris and fire into the void. Mara shouted orders, coordinating every last fighter, every last defensive maneuver. Eli realized something profound as he piloted his fighter. Humans were not just fighting an enemy, they were proving something to the galaxy itself. They were not weak. They were not helpless. Every maneuver, every risk, every act of courage screamed that humans were more than their size or technology. They were a force of nature, a spirit that could not be crushed. The battle raged for hours. Human ingenuity and resilience met the ancient vessel's power and intelligence. Ships on both sides were destroyed, but slowly, the humans began to find patterns in the enemy's attacks. Each pattern revealed a vulnerability, and with every strike, humanity's hope grew. Finally, in a daring maneuver, Eric led a small group of elite pilots, including Eli, directly into the heart of the enemy ship. They targeted the main energy core, the vessel's source of power. Missiles struck true. Beams cut through metal and plasma. And for a moment, it seemed impossible, until the giant ship shuddered, sparks flying across its massive hull. Eric's voice came over the comms, calm but firm. We are humans. We survive. We endure. And we fight back. The vessel recoiled, retreating slowly into the darkness, leaving the humans battered but victorious. The fleet limped back to safer space, each survivor knowing that the galaxy had changed. Humans had faced an ancient, unknowable power and had survived. But as the dust settled, Eli noticed something chilling on the sensors. The ship had left behind fragments, seeds of technology far beyond human understanding. And somewhere, in the dark void of space, the presence that had commanded the vessel was watching, waiting. Humanity had won a battle. But the real war, the war that would test their courage, ingenuity, and spirit, was only beginning. The human fleet returned to Earth orbit, battered but alive. Ships floated like wounded birds, engines smoking, hulls scarred from battle. Commander Eric Kane walked through the hangar bays, surveying the damage. He felt pride and exhaustion in equal measure. Humanity had survived an encounter no one could have imagined, yet the victory felt hollow. Something larger, older, and far more dangerous was out there. Lieutenant Mara Voss approached him, her face tense. "Sir, our scientists are analyzing the fragments left behind by the ancient vessel. They are beyond anything we've ever seen. The technology, the energy, it's not just advanced. It's alive, or at least it reacts like it is." Eric's brow furrowed. "And dangerous?" Mara nodded. "Extremely. If the fragments reassemble, they could create something that no human fleet could stop. Even the Dravari might not survive it." In the command center, Eli Ramos studied the data, his eyes wide with disbelief. It's like the ship was a single organism, not just metal. And these fragments, they're seeds. They'll grow into something else. Something worse. Eric clenched his fists. Then we have to stop it before it grows. Humanity survived the Dravari. Humanity survived the impossible. We will survive this too. For weeks, humans worked tirelessly. Scientists, engineers, and pilots formed teams, studying the fragments, testing, experimenting, trying to understand how to contain or destroy them. They discovered that the ancient technology responded to human thought and emotion. It seemed drawn to fear, hesitation, and doubt, but resistant to courage and unity. The humans realized something startling. The vessel, and whatever it represented, was testing them. One evening, Eric stood on the observation deck of the Resolute, looking at the stars. Eli joined him, still shaken from the previous battles. "Sir, do you think it's alive? Not just the ship, but whatever controls it." Eric's eyes were steady. "I don't know, Eli. But I do know this: humans are alive too. And we fight with something no machine, no alien, no ancient power can ever take from us. Our courage, our unity, our spirit, this is our weapon." Mara entered, holding a report. "Sir, sensors have detected activity in the fragment field. It's growing. Rapidly. We have less than a week before it becomes another vessel, maybe larger and more powerful than the last." Eric's face darkened. "Then we don't wait. We strike first. Prepare the fleet. We're taking the fight to it." The next day, human ships left Earth orbit, heading toward the fragment field. The journey was tense, every crew member aware of the stakes. They didn't know what they would face, only that it would be worse than anything before. As they approached, the fragments pulsed with energy, forming shapes and structures that seemed almost organic. Beams of light shot through the void, reacting to the humans' presence. Eli piloted his fighter cautiously, feeling the fragments shift and react as he moved. It was as if the very universe was alive, observing, judging. Suddenly, the fragments coalesced into a massive structure, larger than any Dravari warship, and unlike anything humans had ever seen. Its surface shimmered with a strange light, pulsing like a heartbeat. Tentacle-like appendages extended, probing the fleet, testing their reactions. Eric's voice echoed over the comms. "Focus fire only on the appendages. Keep moving, and don't let it intimidate you. Remember, fear is what it wants. We will not give it fear." The humans attacked with precision. Missiles struck the appendages, laser fire cut through the shifting forms, and the fleet moved like one entity, coordinated and unstoppable. Yet the structure adapted instantly, rearranging itself, blocking attacks, and striking back with energy blasts that tore through space. In the chaos, Eli noticed something remarkable. When humans acted with courage and unity, firing together, moving together, the structure recoiled, as if repelled by their determination. He shouted over comms, "Sir, it's reacting to us. When we fight as one, it falters." Eric grinned, a dangerous light in his eyes. "Then that's exactly how we'll fight. Humans fight together. Humans endure. Humans survive." With renewed strategy, the fleet synchronized attacks, concentrating on the weak points revealed by their unity. Slowly, the massive structure began to fracture, pieces breaking away, sparks flying as the fragments lost cohesion. The ancient intelligence was learning, yes, but humanity's spirit proved stronger. Finally, the structure collapsed in on itself, leaving only drifting fragments. The human fleet hovered, battered but victorious. Eli looked at the remnants in awe. "We did it. We actually did it." Eric placed a hand on his shoulder. "Yes, Eli. Humanity survived again. But this was only a test. There will be more. Stronger. Smarter. But every time, humanity will rise." Mara stared at the drifting fragments. "They underestimated us because they thought we were weak. They thought we were helpless. But they were wrong. Every time, they're wrong." Eli smiled, hope and determination burning in his eyes. "Then let them come. We're ready. Humanity never stops. Humanity never gives up." And somewhere in the dark reaches of space, far beyond the fragments and stars, a presence watched. Patient. Ancient. Waiting for the right moment. Humanity had survived another test, but the real war, the war that would decide the fate of the galaxy, was still ahead. The fragments drifted silently through space, remnants of the ancient vessel that had tested humanity. Yet the fleet knew that victory was only temporary. The strange intelligence that controlled them had not been destroyed, it had learned, adapted, and now, it was watching. Commander Eric Kane stood on the bridge of the Resolute, his eyes scanning the stars. "Sensors show movement," he said quietly. "Something is coming. Something bigger." Lieutenant Mara Voss frowned. "Sir, the readings are enormous. Larger than the last vessel. And there's energy fluctuations unlike anything we've ever seen. It's alive, in a way we can't even comprehend." Eli Ramos, standing at the control console, swallowed hard. "Sir, it's as if it's learning from us. Every time we defeat one of its forms, it changes, becomes stronger. I don't think this ends with weapons alone." Eric's jaw tightened. "Then we fight smarter, not just harder. Humanity doesn't just survive by brute force. We survive because we think, because we adapt, because we never give up. That's how we'll beat it." Within hours, the fleet detected a massive structure forming in the distance, far larger than the last vessel. It shimmered with impossible energy, pulsating like a heartbeat that echoed across the void. This was no longer a ship. It was an organism, a fusion of technology and something older, something beyond comprehension. "Prepare for battle," Eric ordered. "This is not just another fight. This is survival. Humanity's survival." As the humans approached, the vessel reacted instantly. Energy tendrils lashed out, striking ships at random, tearing through armor and shields. Pilots dodged frantically, but the sheer size of the enemy made escape impossible. Mara coordinated defensive formations, rerouting power to shields and engines, but even she could feel the immense pressure building. Eli piloted his fighter through a maze of energy tendrils, his heart pounding. Every instinct screamed fear, but he remembered Eric's words. Fear is what it wants. Humans never give in to fear. Humans fight back. Suddenly, the vessel pulsed a massive wave of energy. Ships were thrown into disarray. Sensors failed. Communications went dark. In the chaos, it became clear that conventional attacks were useless. Missiles evaporated before impact, lasers bent away from the structure, and human ingenuity alone could not breach it. Eric's voice cut through the chaos, calm and commanding. "Focus on unity. Work together. The vessel reacts to fear, hesitation. We will not give it either." The human fleet adjusted instantly, coordinating attacks in perfect synchronization. Fighters moved like a single organism, concentrating fire where the vessel's tendrils met the core. Engineers aboard larger ships directed energy precisely, every strike deliberate. Slowly, they noticed a pattern. When humans acted as one, the vessel faltered, recoiling slightly from their combined courage. Eli shouted over comms. "It's true. When we fight as one, it hesitates. Keep pushing, keep moving, together." Eric grinned. "That's humanity. That's our strength." For hours, the battle raged. Human pilots risked everything, diving through energy tendrils, striking vital points with surgical precision. Explosions lit the void like artificial suns, metal and plasma scattering across the battlefield. The vessel adapted, but every adaptation created new vulnerabilities, new openings that the humans exploited. Inside the bridge of the Resolute, Mara's hands moved faster than thought. Core systems exposed. Focus fire on the core. All units, now. Eli followed orders, leading a squad of fighters through the chaos. The core of the vessel glowed like a star, vulnerable and terrifying. Every pilot knew this was their chance, their only chance. Missiles struck, beams fired, and the core shattered in a brilliant explosion. The vessel screamed in energy, thrashing wildly before fragments scattered into space. The humans watched, exhausted but victorious. Eric's voice echoed over the comms, steady and commanding. This is humanity. We endure. We fight. We survive. Let the galaxy remember this day. Mara wiped sweat from her brow. They underestimated us. Again. They will never underestimate humans again. Eli looked at the fragments drifting in the void. It's not gone. It will come back, stronger. We have to be ready. Eric placed a hand on his shoulder. Yes, Eli. And we will be ready. Humanity never gives up. Humanity never surrenders. Every time the galaxy doubts us, we prove them wrong. As the fleet limped back to Earth, battered but undefeated, a signal pulsed faintly from the edge of the fragments. Something had survived, something watching, waiting, learning. Humanity had won the battle, but the war was far from over. And in the darkness, beyond the stars, an ancient presence stirred, aware of humans for the first time. It knew now, they were not weak. They were not helpless. They were dangerous. The real test was just beginning. The human fleet returned to Earth, battered and weary, yet alive. Ships were scarred from battle, and crews were exhausted, but the fire inside humanity burned brighter than ever. Commander Eric Kane stood on the observation deck of the Resolute, staring at the stars. The void felt heavier now, filled with unknown threats, yet he did not falter. Lieutenant Mara Voss approached him, her face tense. "Sir, the fragments from the last vessel. They're not inert. Sensors detect subtle shifts. Energy readings fluctuate. It's almost as if they're reorganizing." Eric's jaw tightened. "Then we prepare. Humanity survives because we act, not because we wait. Assemble the fleet. We strike before they can grow again." Eli Ramos joined them, pale but determined. "Sir, I've been analyzing the fragments. They respond to emotion and thought, like before. But this time, it's different. It's learning faster. Smarter. If we hesitate, even for a moment, we could lose everything." Eric nodded. "Then we do not hesitate. We fight as humans always do, together, united, fearless." Days of preparation passed in a blur. Humans rebuilt, repaired, and strategized. Scientists studied the alien fragments, trying to find a weakness. Engineers modified ships, creating weapons specifically designed to exploit what little they knew of the ancient technology. Pilots trained tirelessly, readying for a battle that no one could predict, yet everyone knew would come. Then, it arrived. The fragments had reassembled, forming a colossal, shifting vessel that pulsed with raw energy. It was larger and more intimidating than any previous threat. Tendrils of light and metal extended into space, probing, testing, analyzing. The humans could feel its presence in their minds, an awareness that was both terrifying and mesmerizing. Eric's voice came over the fleet's comms, calm but resolute. "Stay focused. Fear is what it wants. Humanity thrives on courage, on unity. Remember who we are. We fight. We survive. We endure." The vessel struck first. Energy waves tore through human ships, shields flaring and cracking under the immense force. Pilots ducked and dodged, weaving through deadly attacks. Ships exploded in blinding flashes, and debris scattered across the battlefield. Eli piloted his fighter through the chaos, heart pounding. The vessel reacted instantly to every move, every attack. It seemed to anticipate human strategies, adapting faster than ever. But as he looked around, he saw something remarkable. Other human pilots, acting together, moved in perfect synchrony. The vessel faltered slightly when humans coordinated, striking as one. Eric noticed it too. "Unity is our weapon," he shouted. "Every pilot, every ship, every human, act as one." The fleet adjusted instantly, coordinating attacks, firing in synchronized bursts, exploiting openings revealed by their unity. The vessel lashed out, trying to separate them, to break their formation, but humanity held strong. Suddenly, the vessel released a massive pulse, stronger than anything before. Ships were thrown off course, systems overloaded, alarms blaring. Mara barked orders, rerouting power to shields and engines. Hold. Do not give in. Remember who we are. Eli felt a surge of determination. Humanity was not helpless. Humanity was not weak. They had survived the impossible before, and they would do it again. He led a squadron straight into the heart of the vessel, dodging tendrils of energy, firing precisely where the vessel's structure was weakest. Eric watched from the bridge, directing the fleet with calm precision. This is our moment. Strike together. Strike with courage. Strike as humans. The vessel shrieked with energy as the combined attacks hit its core. Fragments cracked, tendrils shattered, and a blinding explosion lit the void. The vessel recoiled, faltering, scattering pieces into space. Humanity had struck a critical blow. Yet, as the fleet regrouped, sensors detected something alarming. The fragments that remained were forming patterns, smarter, faster, and more coordinated than before. The presence controlling them was far from defeated. It was evolving, learning from every move humanity had made. Mara's voice was tense. Sir, it's not over. Not even close. Every time we win, it grows stronger. We've only delayed the inevitable. Eric's expression was steady, determined. Then humanity will rise stronger too. We don't wait for the impossible to defeat us. We adapt, we fight, and we endure. We are humans. And humans never surrender. Eli stared at the fragments drifting in space, awe and fear mixing in his chest. It's learning faster. Next time, it might be unstoppable. Eric placed a hand on his shoulder. Then next time, Eli, we'll be ready. Humanity always is. The fleet returned to safe orbit, battered but undefeated. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. Somewhere in the darkness, the presence that had tested humanity stirred, aware now of the full measure of its opponent. Humanity had survived. Humanity had endured. Humanity had shown that even the oldest, strongest powers could not break their spirit. But the real war, the one that would decide the fate of the galaxy, was approaching faster than anyone could predict. And humanity would face it head-on. The remnants of the ancient vessel floated silently in space, a constant reminder that the war was not over. Commander Eric Kane stood on the bridge of the Resolute, eyes fixed on the void. Every human in the fleet knew what was coming. The final test, the ultimate battle that would decide the fate of humanity and perhaps the galaxy itself. Lieutenant Mara Voss joined him, her face pale but determined. Sir, sensors indicate the presence is fully awake now. It's coordinating the fragments into multiple vessels. This time, it's preparing to strike not just our fleet, but Earth itself. Eric's jaw tightened. Then we strike first. Humanity doesn't wait for extinction to act. Humanity survives because we fight, because we adapt, because we never give up. Prepare the fleet. This ends now. Eli Ramos stared at the view screen, heart pounding. Sir, it's massive. Larger than anything we've faced before. It's energy. It feels alive. It's like staring into a mind older than the galaxy. Eric placed a firm hand on Eli's shoulder. Then let's show it what humans are made of. Fear is what it wants. Courage is what we give. Humanity always rises. The fleet moved toward the fragment field, every ship in perfect formation. Smaller ships led the assault, dodging tendrils of energy while massive cruisers fired coordinated volleys. The ancient presence reacted immediately, releasing waves of energy, destroying ships in blinding flashes. Explosions lit the void like artificial suns, and debris scattered across space. Eric's voice cut through the comms, calm and commanding. Hold formation. Strike together. Every ship, every fighter, every human, act as one. The humans attacked with precision, targeting vital points in the growing structures. Each strike was synchronized, each maneuver calculated. Slowly, the massive vessels faltered, unable to anticipate the unity and ingenuity of humanity. Eli led a squadron into the heart of the central vessel, dodging energy tendrils that lashed like living whips. His hands moved with instinct, but his mind was focused, clear. The vessel's core glowed with pulsing energy, vulnerable yet terrifying. Mara coordinated defenses from the Resolute, guiding the fleet through the chaos. Core exposed. Focus all firepower. Now. Arak's eyes shone with determination. This is humanity. We endure. We fight. We survive. Missiles struck true, lasers cut through energy shields, and the vessel shrieked in a soundless scream. Pieces of metal and energy fragments shattered, scattering into space. Yet even as the central vessel broke apart, smaller structures remained, adapting, shifting, learning. Then, something unexpected happened. The ancient presence, sensing its defeat, concentrated all its remaining energy into a massive pulse, aimed directly at Earth. It was a final attack, a desperate attempt to destroy the humans' home and end their defiance forever. Eli's chest tightened. Sir, it's heading for Earth. Arak's voice was calm, even in the face of annihilation. Then humanity will meet it head-on. Prepare the ultimate counterstrike. Every ship, every weapon, every human willing to fight. Now is the time. The fleet converged, uniting into a single force, their weapons blazing. Energy beams struck the pulse, missiles detonated along its path, and human ingenuity turned the tide. The massive attack fragmented, dissipating into harmless sparks. The earth below remained untouched. Eli watched, awe and relief washing over him. Humanity had survived the impossible once again. Arak addressed the fleet over comms, voice steady and commanding. You've all done what no one believed possible. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is not helpless. We endure, we fight, and we survive. The galaxy will remember this day. Mara wiped sweat from her brow, smiling for the first time in days. They underestimated us at every turn. And every time, we proved them wrong. The fleet regrouped, battered but victorious. The ancient presence had been defeated, its fragments scattered and neutralized, but its lessons remained. Humanity had faced an intelligence older than the stars, and they had prevailed. Not with sheer power, but with courage, unity, and the indomitable human spirit. Eli looked at the stars, feeling a surge of hope and pride. We did it. Humanity survived. And we've shown that we're capable of anything. Arak placed a hand on his shoulder. Yes, Eli. Humanity will always survive. The galaxy may challenge us again, but every time, we will rise. That is who we are. Mara added softly, they believed humanity was helpless. They were wrong. Every single time. As the fleet returned to Earth, the planet itself seemed to welcome them home, blue and vibrant against the darkness of space. Humanity had survived impossible odds, fought against powers older than the stars, and emerged stronger than ever. The galaxy had witnessed the truth. Humans were not to be underestimated. Far beyond the edges of known space, remnants of the ancient presence lingered. Patient. Observing. Learning. But one truth was now clear across the cosmos. Humanity was alive, united, and unstoppable. And the story of humans, the story of resilience, courage, and spirit, would continue, echoing across the stars, inspiring generations yet to come. For humanity had proven one undeniable truth: they were never helpless.